There was a lot of death, there was a lot of shootings, there was a lot of violence. I remember a guy getting shot right here, over there. I remember the fights. When the crack came in, everybody started fighting each other because there was so much money. They started robbing each other. You know, selling drugs is one thing, policemen, that's one thing. From these guys is another. So you gotta look at both ways. So no matter where you went, you're always on guard. Kind of paranoid. Well, I was paranoid. If I'm at a red light, I'm looking both ways. Always, even if I'm on the street by myself. Yeah. Because they were jacking in, they were following you home, you know, and that was constant. You're gonna get your gun before they get you, and you gotta pull the trigger before they would pull on you. Yeah. Anyone who stayed in this environment usually ended up, you know, either in jail or killed. If you go on the next street, that's where people would shoot up at. There was more than heroin addicts over that way. I mean, just sad stories. Well, this guy's house right here, his mother smoked crack. When the crack came out, she smoked so much of it, her heart burst. She died right in front of her children. And that happened a lot. A lot of those guys, I say 85% are gone.
But it's more about survival out here.
It's truly survival. My name is Richmond. This is Trinity Gardens, and this is where I started with the drugs. Being the only boy, my mother was trying to protect me, so she kept me in the house. So when I did come outside, all I would see is the guys on the corner selling drugs, or the pimps and the prostitutes. And so as time progressed, that's what I wanted to do. I used to catch the bus. The bus would let me off here every day, and I would walk home, and the kids would jump on me. So as you know, sooner or later, the drug dealer seen that the kids were jumping on me. And yeah, one of the guys named Anthony, he seen me crying one day, coming home. He said he left a stick right on the side. Said, you know what? Next time they fight you, I want you to take the stick. I want you to just whoop it upside the head. I said, okay. So when I did that, that started the scene of me fighting, and I found out that fear was more important. So that's where the name Big O came from. I started lifting weights, and I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and started jogging out through the night. As you know, I was fighting all the time. So that's how it made a name for me. Then came the drugs. My mother had a stroke, and lights and stuff was getting cut off. And so I was about 15, 16 years old. And I was not, you know, my sister was older and she had moved on. And I needed to bring money in the house. So that's where a lot of the drugs came in at. In fact, that's where I started. I started selling crack first, and I would go from drug to justify that drug, you know. In other words, this is not so bad. Well, let me go to this is not so bad. But every drug had its consequence. Right on the next street, which would be King Street, there was a pimp. From where my house is, you can look over the fence and you'll see the prostitutes. And so, man, I did everything I could to get close to that guy. Because first of all, he had some beautiful women, you know. He had all the money, drove all the cars and everything. So I would run errands for him. I kind of studied him. That's where we learn about the prostitutes and how to handle them. And it all started when I had to do a bachelor party for a friend of mine. And so I had got two girls. The girls said, hey, you know, we can make some money behind this. You know, you're really good with us, you know. We had did a party for somebody, and the girl had went home and she shot herself. She had 3 kids. I felt so bad, so I just didn't want to do that no more. I was raised right. I just got stirred the wrong direction, you know. And in your heart, and my grandfather was a bishop, and so I knew the word. I knew God. I was really trying to clean myself up with that, which is hard to do when you have so many people depending on you, because they need to run their drug operations. And I think what changed that for me was my oldest son. I had made them breakfast, and I never forget, he said, Daddy, what do you do for a living? Oh, man. Oh, man. My grandfather was a hustler. I heard my father was a hustler, and I'm sowing that seed right into my children. That's where the change came at, you know. My best friend, Chris Parr, he was going to Lakewood, and he kept, you know, I brought him to Lakewood. I brought him to Lakewood. I remember one night he just got out of jail, and he said, well, I said, what you want to do, Chris? He said, man, if I tell you, you won't laugh, right? I said, no, I want to go to Lakewood. I said, well, let's go tonight. That's when it was in the old building. And so I took him there, and he never left. And I would start praying and say, God, I would change if you show me how to change. This is all I know. And God gave me the vision, so I started Do You Know Him Printing Company. And it's been going on for 15 years now. So the economy hit. When the economy hit, I ended up losing everything. And I had to make a decision, I was really into church, everything was going good. Was I going to trust God, or was I going to go back into selling drugs? And that's when I decided, okay, no matter what, if I lose everything I have, I'm going to trust God. And I did. I lost everything I had. Ended up being homeless. And I had 2 kids I was raising. I started going to church more and more and listening to the word more and more. And before you know it, man, things had turned around. God had turned it around. Business started growing. I was able to hire people. I've been at Lakewood now for 5 years. I haven't sold drugs or hustled no kind of way for about 10 years now. And now we teach people how to print. So I've taught over 65 people how to start their own business in screen printing. I'm part of the Encounter team at Lakewood, and I graduated from Maximize Manhood. I know I love my children, but I know that template. I was with a girl, but I didn't know how to treat a woman, because it was a hustle thing for me, Maximize Manhood really showed me what a man role is, how to love, how to teach your children, how to love your children, discipline your children, the roles of a man, So that played a big part in everything. And that was the best move I ever made. I recommend it to anybody. Yeah, it's life-changing. Spending time with God is the key to everything. You gotta spend time, You gotta hear His voice. I would say ask God for a plan of action and hold to that. Hold to that. And let the past go. Yeah. Because if you don't let the past go, you won't have a future.